What's going on, guys? Gomes here, back again on another MLB The Show 20 Diamond Dynasty video. Now, this one is going to be a bit of a follow-up for my Create a Player build video, which is going to be up in the top right-hand corner. If you haven't checked that out yet, make sure to do so. Great tips on building a really overpowered Create a Player. They can be some of the best cards, if not your best card all year, as long as you have a good swing, and that's what we're talking about today. But before we get into that one, make sure leave a like down below. It really does help the videos out a ton to get them out there. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. We just hit 24,000. We are growing really exponentially fast. I cannot thank you guys enough. Got a lot more tip videos and a bunch of stuff this year, so make sure stay tuned and hit that subscribe button. But let's start talking Create a Player swings. Now, the first thing to get out of the way is you can be great with any swing. I want to make that abundantly clear. Well, maybe not every swing. There are some that just blatantly suck, that are just a two-pack of ass, and I would never recommend to use those, but we're not going to go through the horrible ones. We're going through the good ones. But yeah, overall, there are players that you can still do good with, even though they don't have a good swing, just based off attributes alone. But a swing in a good stance really help you time out the pitch. And of course, that's more important than ever this year with the new perfect system introduced. It is something you really want to strive for, and it's going to help a bunch if you know when to time your swings with your batting stance. Also, something else that I do want to mention is that it kind of depends on your build. I would recommend as well, there's certain swings, and keep in mind there's a difference between an actual if I can click on the right damn thing, there's a difference between on a stance and a swing, which I will talk about, but certain builds you want different sort of swings. For example, if you're having a more contact build, you might want more of a slap swing, something like an Ichiro stance, a Jose Reyes stance. That might be something you're into. For example, that would be this two-handed style too. This one, you're usually going to get a lot more slap hits, a lot more line drives. I wouldn't really use this swing if you want to hit a bunch of home runs, but if you're more of a power build with your, Create a Player, if you have a power catcher, a power shortstop, or whatever, maybe you want more lift on your swing, in which case I'd recommend something like pretty much any of these, the two-handed style one, or a lot of times I just go with whatever is default with that specific stance, because if you have a contact hitter stance, you're probably going to have a contact hitter swing. So that is pretty obvious right there. The first one I want to talk about is Max Muncie. He is the one I am currently using. If you guys have been watching the gameplays, you'll know Max Muncie hits absolute tanks for me. I cannot recommend the gold card enough. I can't take him out of my lineup. I have the stubs. I have players I'm looking for, but Max Muncie has just continued to play his way onto my team. I really like Max Muncie's swing in particular because I hit a lot of home runs. I get a lot of lift under my swings. Of course, it kind of depends on the player as well. The more good you are, the more adept you are at using the player's attributes to your abilities and their strong suits. Max Muncie's not a contact hitter, he's a power hitter. And especially with the three-tier system, I really do a good job with Max Muncie. I time things pretty well with him, and I just overall like it a lot. I get a lot of lift, I hit a lot of power with him, and he is the swing I've been using right now. The next one I do want to talk about, this is a fan favorite. I know some of the better players, I think Pitching Rebel uses this one as well. I was watching a movie video, and I saw that he said Pitching Rebel used this swing, so I'm taking movie's word for it. I definitely believe him, and that should be on the former players. We're going to look for Chipper Jones 2008 batting stance. This is the same one that was on his pre-order diamond last year, and I'm putting this on this list explicitly for the fact that he burned me time in and time out last year, multiple months down the release of the game. This this swing was so dang good. I can't recommend it enough. And of course, you're going to replicate Chipper Jones in the fact that you are going to have a switch hitter as well. Pretty obvious. If you're building a creative player, there is no reason not to make him a switch hitter. But Chipper Jones, once again, this isn't exactly a big power stance, or at least that wasn't his card last year. I found this one has great contact within it. I got a lot of bloops on me with this Chipper Jones, so if you're building a balanced or a contact build, I think this is going to be a great swing for you. The next one I want to talk about, and this is going to be in general, we are going into the generic players. I can remember some of them just because I used them. They don't currently have a list like they did last year and in the previous years where it goes through each generic stance and tells you what player it's modeled after, because all of these are guys that used to be in the game and they just slap veteran stance 58 on it. It is alphabetically ordered, so if you find somebody, you're going to probably be able to be in the right vicinity and find somebody else. In specific, the first one I'm talking about is All-Star 126, which I believe to be Nick Swisher's swing from last year. And this was probably my favorite swing all year. Once again, you are low to the ground, which I kind of like. I've mentioned so many times how, first of all, I don't think you should have a really tall creative player, in my opinion. Like 6'2" or under is probably what I recommend. The reason for that, if you have somebody who's 6'8", that's a bigger strike zone, and it's a lot easier for your opponent to throw dots and just land one and end up striking you out looking. I think it's much easier if you have an average height or shorter guy, maybe not 5'6", but between like 5'10" and 6'1", 6'2" is what I recommend. And Nick Swisher, like I said, low to the ground, and I hit a good mix of liners and bombs. I was a contact catcher build, I believe, last year, or it might have been a balanced. But either way, I really do like Nick Swisher's swing a lot. I would recommend it a ton. I believe that's who it is, this one right here. It looks pretty much identical to what I remember from last year. The next one I want to mention is another generic. I had tried this out at the beginning of last year and a little bit this year to see if it was still good, and that was Veteran 331. This stance I like, once again, because it's kind of low to the ground, and in my opinion, I can time it pretty well if you look at the stride, and that's something else you can play with. You can, have a different stride. Usually, once again, I just go with whatever is already tied to that swing or stance, just because it feels the most natural to me. But I really like this one. It really just helped me time. And the next one, a lot of these are based on timing, because that's the most important thing. You're going to look for triggers or different things within a player's swing or stride motion where you're getting ready to actually swing and when the ball is actually going to come to you. That is going to really, really help you out and able to time up balls. Obviously, guess pitch is not in the game, but if you can time this up with when the pitch is going to be coming up to the dish, you're going to be doing a lot better. Something else, I never really touch these. If you want, you can. Some people, I believe, like more hand waggle. I don't really care that much. Once again, it's all about timing and it's all about practice. If you try out this swing, just use it. Probably base, I would recommend at first. And if there's things that you would notice could be better, then go in and tinker. Just play against the computer or something like that. I don't believe there's any moments where you can get continuous at bats, or better yet, go offline. Just do a batting practice and change somebody's swing to which one you are planning on using. Another current player I want to really recommend is going to be Anthony Rendon. He is probably the pinnacle of timing as far as live series cards go for me, just because I think this is perfect. I like how he is waiting back, and I just find myself to be able to time things perfect. I used his finest card last year, really loved it. Swing is absolutely the same. I used him a bunch in Showdown so far, and I cannot recommend it enough. Some people might not necessarily like somebody waiting back. I think that is a major plus, and it really helps me time balls. So Anthony Rendon is another great one that you guys can try. And the last one I want to recommend, most of these have probably been balanced or, if anything, leaning power. I did find Jose Reyes' stance once again. I mentioned how they're alphabetically ordered. I found Nick Swisher to what I presume, of course, S, and then Jose Reyes being in the R's. It was pretty close, and I definitely know this one for sure is Jose Reyes, and that is going to be All-Star 109. So if you're a big fan of his swing, or you have a contact build that you're looking for a slap hitter, this is pretty much the best you're going to get. I loved Jose Reyes' card last year. I don't remember, nice voice crack. I don't think he got a better card than his team affinity. I don't remember him getting a signature series card. He might have, but I don't remember it. But I still hit really, really well with him. So if you have a contact slap hitting speed build, this is going to be a great swing for you. I'm not sure about Ichiro stance. I'm sure you can find it quite easily. That's probably going to be somewhere in the Legends stances you're going to be able to look, but I'm not completely sure what Ichiro's stance looks like, because it is kind of plain and basic. It might be this one actually. I think it might be 32. But that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Like I said, these are some of the swings I highly recommend. All of these I have had really good success with. I tried out Schwarber's at the beginning of the year for a bit, didn't really like it, switched to Muncie's, and all of a sudden I am hitting tremendously better. And if you guys want some proof how good I am hitting with Max Muncie, you guys can see right here, he has just been a monster for me. Hitting 425, 9 home runs, near 1,200 slugging percentage. He has just been so good, and this is for a gold card a lot of the time facing, you know, diamond pitchers. So he has been amazing. Despite the low vision, I'm able to still time up balls and hit tanks. So highly recommend that you try out any of these swings. Let me know down below in the comment section what swing are you currently using on your creative player, and if you have some good suggestions, I'll probably try them out for myself. I'm always curious to try out new swings, because yes, you might have one that works well for you right now, but what if you could find one that works even better? So I think that's fun to see. Like I said, it's really helpful to just go in, edit player, put whatever swing you want on somebody, and just try it out and go into a batting practice and get some reps in. If y'all enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like down below. Really would appreciate that. Thank y'all for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. There goes out. Yeet.